if you don't have happy employees, then it's going to be very difficult to give exceptional service. No matter how many SOPs you throw at your staff.
Is there something like specific that you could repeat in each one of these hotels that always work?
Nah-Dja Tien took multiple properties to be number one on TripAdvisor here in Prague, and I got him to share his secret sauce. For the next 15 minutes, he'll be sharing the little details that made his properties shine. Hi, my name is Mauricio Schiller, and you're listening to the Schulering Hub, a podcast made for hospitality professionals to share what makes hospitality a great place to work and what are the hurdles that sometimes are in the way of getting to happiness in hospitality. If you like the show, please leave your like on this video and share with your network, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'll be forever grateful. Enjoy the show and learn something new with Schulering today.
Hello everyone! What is exceptional guest experience for you? If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, you'll be able to answer this question. So do it now. If you're not, just can comment on LinkedIn. Because I have, once again, Nah-Dja Tien to talk about the quest for happiness in hospitality at the Schulering Hub. Welcome, Nah-Dja.
Hi, Maurizio. Thanks for having me again.
It's a pleasure to have you. Always good to see your smile. It's a pity that people listening cannot see you, but we're gonna get that fixed up at some point, okay? Genia, please get that working. And Nah-Dja, we are talking today about exceptional service. And for guests, like what guests are looking as truly exceptional service in hospitality, I need to think about actually me as a guest, right? Like what I want to when I go to somewhere to feel like I'm always looking for being like recognized. I like to, if I arrive at a restaurant or a hotel, that when I arrive there, someone actually recognizes I'm there. And I like to being welcome as like there is a motivation behind them to help me to feel that I'm in the right place, in the right city, and I have things to do. They are in control of my experience. And right. That this behavior also goes across, right? Like when I explain, like last time I was in Gran Canaria and I was in the Emilia Hotel, and it was a great experience. Everywhere I went, everyone smiled, and it was from the housekeeping or the waiters or the chefs in the breakfast room. Everyone was smiling, was helpful. And I was feeling that I was part of that family. I was part of being welcome there. It feels like being in a friend's house, right? And another thing that I think that is really important is that like my expectations for the place are met, right? Like that I'm buying something and I'm getting that or beyond what I paid for. But this is as a guest, but creating this type of service is not an easy job. Otherwise, we would see that everywhere. So what are the key characteristics of exceptional hospitality service to you, Nah-Dja?
Well, one of the things that I have in my head is that you have a no friction stay, with everything from the moment that you book until that you leave. And then during that exceptional stay, you have a few wow moments that really makes you think. And I've been scratching my head for a while, Mauricio, because whatever I did in the past, I opened up many hotels, and 3 of them, they made it to number 1 on TripAdvisor, which means that you're outperforming the whole market wherever you are in guest satisfaction, guest reviews, and only to grow into that algorithm of TripAdvisor and Booking.com means that you constantly deliver better service and is better rewarded by the guests than any other hotel. I want to put a formula to that. Of course, you need to know what you sell. You need to know what your customers might want. And if you basically go out of your way to get these things correct, and it has to start with the general manager, right? It's the general manager that needs to push it down. But if you get out of your way to get those things correct, then you're already very much on the way. And, I read somewhere it's one of those basic truths. If you don't have happy employees, then it's going to be very difficult to give exceptional service, no matter how many SOPs you throw at your staff. So it's all interlinked. And those hotels that I was able to open up, I did things differently. I hired people on, the ability to give exceptional service by themselves. It's much easier to hire somebody that already has, service in their manners, in their way, maybe how they're raised by their parents, than to take somebody that doesn't have it and train them to do it.
And is there something like specific that you could repeat in each one of these hotels that always worked? Some little secret there? Is that like, I don't know, it could be the guest experience, but it could also be a type of technology or something very new that they wouldn't be expecting. Is there something there that you would do it?
Well, when I designed the hotels, because I was lucky enough in my life to make hotels from zero. There was somebody that said, I had a building, what are we going to do with it? And one of the things that I always started with is beds. Because at the end, you go to a hotel to sleep. It's the one thing that you want most. If you have a good breakfast, a good dinner, maybe a spa or a swimming pool, those are other things. But so I would always put, big effort on beds. And I have also examples of what I want. I want to go into the bed completely naked and feel like, somebody's hugging me, and it's just nice. That I love. So that is one thing, The next morning when you wake up, the breakfast should be nice as well. If the eggs are already on the buffet for 2 hours, because that's how it is, then they are blue and it's not nice to eat. So I always made a la carte breakfast. Small hotel, I have to say that as well. You know what I always did, Mauricio? To explain to anybody that wanted to work with me, the moment that you make a reservation, you start the journey, towards the hotel. When you arrive at the airport, somebody should stand there with a nice sign with your name perfectly written. You are organizing a surprise for your wife. So at arrival, the taxi driver already tells you, Mauricio, don't worry, everything is organized. What do? You completely relax because you know that somebody knows about it. Taxi driver calls the hotel, Mauricio is coming. By the time you come to the hotel, everybody says, hey, Mauricio, welcome. It's like, this is nice. You come to your room, you have this great bed with these soft sheets and everything is nice, clean. You have your breakfast the next day, you have your perfect cappuccinos, everything. And by the time you go back home, you say, I don't know what happened, but this was an amazing stay. Why? Because everything was without friction and everything worked.
It's designed like an experience that I want to book tomorrow, right? So what I think is like there is a lot of variables there as well, because you involve the people that work with you. And
yes.
What are the biggest challenges in like involving staff and making sure that they will deliver that exceptional experience?
I think that you already mentioned it. You need to involve the people in it. I have standards that I would like to have met, but I also put standards completely upside down. The first hotel that I opened up as a general manager, I made it in English. You don't have it, but when you have the polite form in different languages, I always said, do the unpolite form. If you have a guest that comes and you know the first name, please use the first name. So, hey, Mauricio, welcome to whatever hotel you are in. And those are, different paths because 99% of the employees are not used to it. But I always explain why. I would like to have this, basically breaking barriers kind of attitude. Once you explain the why, the questions come. And I need and want to have this interaction with my people so that when they do the questions, they can, understand even more why, certain things need to be done. But you need to give the people the feeling that they are safe, that they can ask the questions, and trying to make them understand that whatever they do, it is the right way forward with the procedures and everything else, but they need to understand it from their own hearts, not because I say so. And then you come to a whole different level of service.
When you're saying now, like you're talking about people and said about first name, and it reminds me a little bit of the technology, because nowadays, like I get a lot of introductions to tech companies, and they describe the products. And the way that they describe is basically that as a hotel, you can collect data in every touch point, and then you can design this customer experience according to the segmentation that you put them, and then you can mark them. But when you go to reality, it doesn't work quite as the vendors sold, right? Like there are lots of API connections that here doesn't work, or maybe the touch points are not well designed. Another thing is, one thing is collect data. The second thing is analyzing the data and taking action on it. So how you that create that experience before all this tech surge use an untech way to collect this data and get people to recognize their stuff, and what you could tell to the hoteliers today?
You know, technology is definitely on its way to become amazing. I have a feeling we're not there yet, but you know, every time that you come to a hotel and somebody says, "Hello, Maurizio, nice to meet you." This is what you started the podcast with. You know, you feel immediately, hey, somebody recognizes me and I feel important. Now, that technology will bring, you know, at a certain moment, the AI will just figure out with LinkedIn and whatever, and at check-in, you will get automatically a photo of the person that, you know, wherever social media it comes from. If the staff is properly trained, then it's magical. You know, "Hello, Maurizio, how are you?" You know, one of the technology companies, one of the managers came into my hotel once, and I did not have this technology, but I had a very clever receptionist at the time. Yeah, because there were X amount of check-ins left. There was a big queue, and she knew that there was only one single traveler that arrived. And of course, she knew his name as well. And when he checked in, there was a big queue. He was tired and all that, but the receptionist, it was prepaid. She said, "Here you go, here's your card." And she knew exactly who he was, used his name. And he still, until this day, you know, 15 years later, is using this as an example of this wow moment. Okay, how the hell did they know? Yeah.
So basically, it's like practicing the attention to detail. Would that be a big secret in providing that exceptional service?
I think because attention to detail is always important. Yeah, but many hotels don't have the luxury to go really into those details. You know, if you have a hotel that charges, you know, a very big amount of money per night, and that amount allows you to give the exceptional service because you have more people per person, you have better technology per person, yeah, that all works. But there's average thousands of other hotels that don't have this luxury. They can't play with the average rate on a daily basis. So I would find a few things that are important. And my case is very simple. When I became general manager of my first hotel, it was a privately owned business. I really scratched behind my ear and I said, will I just copy everything that I've learned in the last 10 years, the way that hotels are operating for the last 100 years? And the answer was no, I will not do that. Yeah. And then I decided to buy one of the best beds you can buy in a hotel. People were sleeping so well that they woke up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had many guests, they didn't make their checkout. They just overslept. But it also became then, okay, if you wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you still want breakfast or maybe lunch. So I said, okay, you want lunch or breakfast? It's fine. So I created 24 hours a day breakfast. And those are exceptional things that if your operations allow, it really creates a wow effect. So, yeah.
So regardless if you can have the tech or not, being guest-centric is the heart of hospitality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nah-Dja, thank you very much. Next week, we'll be talking about customer feedback and employee growth. So I can't wait to have that discussion with you. Thanks for listening, Schulering. I'll talk to you soon.